Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a flip through of my reading journal for 2022. At the end of 2021, I had started to read a whole lot of books really quickly, and I thought to myself, perhaps I needed some way to document these books so that I could put in key bullet points or just things to remind me of what the stories were actually about. So I chose to start in January of this year. I purchased this journal. It's an A5 journal from Amazon. And as you can see, it's quite the chonker. Anyway, let's begin. So on the first page, I've just simply put my name, then it's a book journal, start date, some stickers. And of course the cover page. Again, these, when there's pictures on here, it's pictures that I got from Pinterest. So index. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough space in my index because I apparently was reading that many books. I did complete 75 books this year. That is the most I have ever read. This is my TBR / shelfie. In hindsight, I think this coming year, I'm not going to put the titles of the books in. I will wait to do that after I finish reading the book. And then my first book, I decided to write it out by hand, and then quickly saw how messy my handwriting was. And in further going on further, you'll see that I actually switched to typing it up and pasting it in instead of writing it all out. I did have one book per page. This is the first spread that I tried with just doing a simple typing it out on vellum, pasting it in, and that seemed to work really well. Again, here's one more of them with my handwriting, and I have to say this is probably one of my favorite books from T. Kingfisher. Absolutely just love this book. And then here I did one spread later on. This is when I decided I truly did like the 2-page spread, and I started to incorporate kind of a junk journaling thing going on. These two books I read back to back, so I went ahead and put them on the same page. And again, this is one book per page. And I did notice I liked the covers, so I put those in as part of the decoration. And another 1-page book per page. Now this one actually I started to incorporate inks and special edition covers. I was lucky enough to find these covers without any print on them. Another T. Kingfisher book. And pictures I found on Pinterest. This is when I decided I really wanted to showcase each of the book's covers and decided that I wanted to have a 2-page spread per book with the cover on one side and my notes on the other side. Here I'm just showing you again, cover on one side, information on the other. Now this book is fairly old, so the cover isn't all that exciting. Tried to improvise. Here on this book, my printer decided it was going to mess up on the vellum, but I decided to leave it because the main character in this book actually uses an old-fashioned typewriter to type up for her clients to type up things. And I thought this, if anyone's ever used one of those old typewriters, they mess up all the time. Here, I decided I was going to add in the photo from the movie, along with a picture of the Nile that I found on the internet. This one I left real simple. I just added the symbols from the books. I read these books back to back, so I put them both together. On this one, I found a picture from the hiking expedition website that actually goes up to this particular mountain and thought that would be kind of fun to put it in this book. This was actually a really big, chunky book, but absolutely great story. Here again, I've incorporated a lot of the inks, special edition cover. That bottom one is actually the cover that I own, and I read the third book right after that, so I went ahead and did the same thing. I put in the special edition cover and then the cover that I own. This was my very first Owl Crate box book, and probably one of my most favorite books this year. This is the Fairy Loot edition of Stardust Thief, and what I did is I put the inside pictures in. I've basically just photocopied them, stuck them in. Just simple book at night. Here again, what I've done is I've put in the special edition cover, which is the one that I own, and the original cover. Gallant is the same way. Another one of my favorite books this year. I was really surprised with this book. It turned out so great. Night Circus. I took an ink pad and just scraped it along the paper to give this unique effect. I think it turned out pretty good. Then I decided I wanted to do a cover page per month, and then decided I was going to run out of pages, so better not. These was a series of 3 books that I read back to back, so I put them, I tried to give them kind of the same theme. My favorite middle grade this year was Aru Shah. This was such a fun book. And if you're into low stakes, cozy fantasy, this is the book to read. I really enjoyed this one. Another special edition. Here I tried to take the cover design and draw it on the page. Probably one of my favorite covers. I actually purchased the UK edition just because of the cover. However, the US edition cover is also gorgeous. Here I tried to do a bit of a 3D design to make it look like it was stitched. And this is book 2. Deep Light turned out to be a really good book. I really enjoyed that book. Red Seas Under Red Skies. This is Locke Lamora, a second book in that series. Also really good if you're into fantasy. Venom Dark and Sweet is book 2. And here is book 1. So I tried to make the theme kind of the same, make it look the same. Book 2 in the Robin Hobb Chonky series. River Enchanted, probably another one of my favorites for this year. I had a lot of favorites. I was very surprised. This one is so atmospheric. This is a really old series of books. I have all 3. This is book number 1. My favorite, probably my favorite or second favorite book from Brandon Sanderson is Warbreaker, the first one being Elantris. I have all these books. Crossfire, I tried to make a kind of a planet design with space because I really didn't know what to do for this book. Here, I think I did 1 page per book because I really didn't have much to say about these books. I liked them, I just didn't have much to say. Here again, you've got the Owl Crate cover and the original cover. I do have the originals from these. Age of Myth, also one of my favorites for the year. This was such a good book. Nettle and Bone, another T. Kingfisher. And this is the second Mistborn trilogy. Well, it's actually a quad now. This is a cozy kitty mystery, book number 4. I've got the whole entire series. And the last book of this year is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, which turned out to be such a cute, cozy book. A couple of blank pages. And then I've just thrown in some random things from Owl Crate to kind of finish it all up. And that is this big chunk. Next, I want to show you, this is a Archer and Olive 8x8 sketchbook. Now, the camera did go out of focus anytime I opened the book because there wasn't anything on the pages, and I do apologize for that. I just wanted to give you kind of a quick glimpse of what's going to happen, and there probably will be some videos coming up in the future of this one as well. Bye!